Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is MOHAMAD Harith HAFIZIN. I am an architecture student in University Science Islam Malaysia and taking a Bachelor Science in Architecture. Today, I want to present to all of you my final project that I had last semester, which is semester 1. Which is the task given to all the students in the semester 1 to build individual design studio port. So before we are going to deeper, before I'm going to present to all of you deeper about it, about my task, about my final project, I'm gonna thank to all of my lecturers and my friend that have give me many advice, many critique, many motivation, so that I can improve my design from time to time until the time is due. That's all. Today I'm gonna through the past of our main topic today, which is the individual design studio plan. Okay, first of all, the task given is an architecture student in semester 1 have to build an individual design studio port in 1.5 times 2.1 meter per square and 1.8 meter height. So the tasks were given and we were given to all of the architecture students. So the task is given to increase the awareness of the human body interaction of space and body, and that limited space that I have told you before, which is 2.1 times 1.5 meter, that such a limited space for us. We are gonna build a design studio port, which is mean only one person at one time can enter the design studio port and have the study in there, maybe to get focus more and get their place to release their stress and so on. So the task given, there were a compulsory thing that we are gonna put inside the design studio port, which is a drafting table and a chair for us to sit in that pot. So the objective of this assignment is to introduce the awareness of human body, and the other objective is to introduce the human behavior in shaping and the space. And lastly, the objective of this assignment of task is to explore human anthropometry and ergonomic in the space. So we are going to build the individual design studio port. So first of all, my issue of this to build this individual design studio port is, which is mean, as we know, human is a contradictory creatures. Maybe half of you or maybe all of you have listened to this saying in English, which is said, health is wealth. So but people nowadays don't live up that way, which is mean they know that the health is wealth, but they don't live that way. What is mean that they don't live that way? They know that health body can make their study better, but they don't do that. That health body, they don't get it. So so people nowadays believe that we human should live in a building that healthy. What is mean by the building that healthy? Building that healthy, that the building can make a benefit to us. That just because we are staying in that building, it can get benefit to us. Yes. But in reality, as you can see in this era, in this 2021, you can see the building that we are live right now is not orientally prepared, not insulated, not naturally ventilated, not water efficient, not energy efficient, and poorly maintained. So the AR Lee Choh Kah said that we must have this design building that have a design that human, that we people can get benefit from. So with that info or with that knowledge, I came across that the concept of my individual design studio pod is tough. And my ideology or my ideation for this individual design studio pod is terrarium. What is mean by terrarium? A terrarium is a glass vessel containing plant and soil, and create a miniature ecosystem that are low maintenance and naturally recycling moisture, yet provide benefit of nature display. With that meaning of the terrarium, we can see that half of the issue or the problem that I have told you before is completely done, completely solved. The knuckly that I had for this design or this task, this individual design studio pod is from Surah Al-Qaf, verse 7. Verse 50, ayah 7. A'udzubillah minasyaitonir rajim. Wal arda wa madadnaha wa alqaina fiha rawasiya wa ambatna fiha min kulli shay'in mawzun. Sadaqallahul azim. And the meaning is, and the earth we spread it out and cast therein firmly set mountain and make grow therein of a very beautiful kind. With this knuckly study, I had got that our Lord has provide the earth and the spread it out, and yet the nature made it grow and firmly set the mountain and made it grow to beautiful. And from this ayah, we can see that we can get many benefit from our nature itself. So first, we just want to know deeper about the terrarium that I told you just now. As you already know, that a terrarium is just a glass vessel that creating a miniature ecosystem, right? So for a deeper knowledge, terrarium consists of two sections, two parts, which is a closed terrarium and open terrarium. The closed and open that forms a unique ecosystem that needs a little maintenance, but it does require some maintenance. The transparent walls on the terrarium allows for both heat and light to enter the terrarium. Open terrarium is subject to the outside air and surrounding and dry out more quickly, but a closed terrarium creates stable, humid environment for plant. So for rough imagination to all of you, terrarium is an aquarium, but it is an aquarium for plant instead of fish. So you get the rough idea. So you know that terrarium is a glass vessel that containing a plant instead of fish. So well managed, well said that sometimes the terrarium were having an like insect on it to provide, and just like I told you that just now, creating ecosystem. That insect is what the terrarium means. Absolutely. So in this 2020 era, this terrarium have known very well in this globe. As you can see, many scientists that have worked together to provide to make the terrarium to get more people know about it, because there is many benefit that we can get from getting this terrarium or just watching it. The temperature and the humidity in that terrarium is just beautiful. So for the design approach, I use a salutogenic design, which is a principle that aim to create an environment that stimulates the mind in order to create pleasure, creativity, satisfaction, and enjoyment. It is also design features that support human health and well-being by modifying the internal environment for better emotional well-being and physical health. So this design investigates a healing environment that induces a confidence, calm, and hope for the future. This is what Lee Choka said that in the article that said that in this era we must build much more buildings that healthy. And some of you may question some of the issue why that you must build this healthy building. First of all, this design approaches in my individual design studio is lower energy consumption. It is also good for our earth itself, that to lower why that we must create this healthy building, so that I approach itself to my design studio board. So first of all, it is because it has the lower energy consumption. As you can see right now, in this era, many buildings that use high energy consumption, such as to make Wi-Fi, refrigerator, and so on. So they use a lot of energy consumption. But within this design approaches, this design can help it to lower the energy consumption in that building. And then the space utilization, if we use these design approaches, that we can get more space in our building. And then the green profile itself that came from the terrarium, it is certified as sustainable, just like the terrarium itself, meaning that they is using a lower maintenance, and they create the stable humidity by itself, by its ecosystem. It is told that it is proven that terrarium itself is a sustainable ecosystem, that they can live without having so much maintenance that they want to get water to plant it every day. So another thing that I approach is the productivity. The fresh air that came from the terrarium, maybe if you use the open terrarium, the fresh air that's going inside the studio pod will increasing the productivity among the student among the student that use that studio pod, and it is lower the expenditure, minimum maintenance, and easy installation. So as you can see, if you use this design this design use salutogenic design, it is less expenditure than using the such as electricity and so on. And as you can see, the design process, which is simply that the first, the pod itself, pod means the pod itself that's place that student manage to study in that pod. And then I came up with the idea terrarium, like I told all of you just now. Then the terrarium, I make it, improve it, the design, the structure of the terrarium, make it maybe in the pentagon shape, rectangular shape, or maybe triangular shape, and then I plan it, or I interpret it into my studio pod. So as you can see in the board, in the floor plan, there's not much. There's a drafting table and a chair, but with the two side of it, there is maybe a terrarium on the both right and left. So for the from the front elevation, there's no much. There's just an opening for the student itself to go to the the studio pod itself. And then in the side elevation, in the left elevation, there's 4 terrarium with the cross shelf that make it interesting to watch. Just like the terrarium itself, just fascinating. But the design, the template of the shell itself is also interesting and fascinating to watch. And then in the right elevation, there's also 4 terrarium with it, and there's some ventilation that I used to put it so that you know that the previously I thought that fresh air help to increasing the productivity of the student inside the studio pod. So there's reason why I put it where I put it ventilation through the side of my studio pod. So as you can also see from the front, in which from the front elevation of this studio pod, the drafting table itself is connected to wall, so it just can be, so you know that the drafting table itself is a mechanism that you can close up, so you can put up the drafting table on the upper side, so you can have privacy area or privacy moment in the relaxing terrarium place, so that you can read your book, or you can just take a nap inside the studio pod, so that makes the privacy. When you are maybe having a lecture, maybe having a crit session with the lecturer, so you can just pin down the drafting table and move it just like the anthropometry area, so that when you are having a lecture, there's a lot of view. You mean a wide view from your inside studio pod itself. So you just can have your body itself. You can have a wide view to have your lecture. So it was not it was a simple design, but yet it is convincing that. So we have a great direct face-to-face with lecturer. so that we can have an obstacle to clear our lecture sound, maybe to see the slide in front that the lecturer show to us. So that's it for the mechanism. So when you close it, you bend it, the drafting table, you can also adjust it to two types. When you are having a 90 degree of the drafting table mechanism, there is when you get a create session, or maybe you have a taking note, you are having a lecture, so you have a 90 degree, so it must be like this stage of table, this part of level. So when you are having maybe you are doing some sketches or doing some design to generate some ideas, you can adjust it to another level, which is the angle of maybe 60 to 55 angle. So you can have a better angle to doing some sketches. So it will be very weird. So if you have to do sketches with 90 degrees of the draft table, so it will be really hard, because your hands might be sweaty, your hands might be go numb, and your head, when you look on the drafting table itself, might go numb. So it is consider the human anthropometry and the ergonomics in that section. So that's from that drafting table itself. And so from the section view, you can just see that there's nothing more, maybe people inside it, and the chair that the student used to sit. And from the isometric view, that you can see that there's the drafting table where it close to have your privacy. So maybe from the view, you can also have the privacy, and yet you have not throw away the terrarium looking and the that healthy looks studio pot. You can still have the what's the meaning, the fascinating, mesmerizing look from the terrarium, because as I said earlier in this video, the transparent wall that makes the terrarium looks very mesmerizing. And then the one point perspective where I show it to you guys from the view that when we are having a lecture or we are having sketches drafting table, so that the studio pods have solved the requirement of the issue that I have told earlier in this video, so that when you are having a lecture, you have a wide view of the screen that have no other obstacles, such as maybe a wall, a grid, a pool or whatever, and so that we can have a good listening, good focus, such as good focus on the lecture, such as the issue that I have told that I'm providing a place that student can have a good focus and good focus and good understanding while being inside the studio pod itself. So I think the conclusion is I believe that I've done my design itself here have maybe fulfill the requirement of the task given of our lecturer, which is make the individual design studio pod is such an ergonomic anthropometry human behavior inside the design studio pod itself. And in with the issue that mostly that. General touch is to focus more when you are sitting inside the design studio. Individual studio pod is want to focus more because barely the objective of the studio is want to create the focus on the focus when you are being inside of the studio pod itself. So I think this video or this presentation they help you to find that my studio pod here is a very unique and a very I think a very productive or very functional to all of the student that can be use. So it's mainly part of you are bringing nature inside the studio pod itself. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.